I can't do it. I'm just going. Alex, please call me back. Please. I just want to speak to you. There's nothing else. I don't even know if you're getting me this voice message, but please can you call me back?
When the Facebook notification from the attractive stranger popped up on Alice's phone, she was flattered. "She's the most naturally beautiful woman I have ever seen," the comment read. It was posted on a photo Alice's friend had uploaded of her while on holiday in Sri Lanka. Alice clicked on the profile. It was sent by a mutual friend by the name of Harry Dhillon. He was good-looking, with brooding dark eyes and thick, black hair. It was evident from his pictures that he took care of himself. He must be a nice guy, Alice thought, to leave such a thoughtful comment. She decided to reach out and introduce herself. Alice had no way of knowing that when she sent that first message, her life would change forever. And not for the good. Welcome back to True Stories. Join our family in exploring some of the most twisted true crime cases. As always, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Now, let's get into it. Outgoing, kind and hardworking are just a few words Alice Ruggles' friends and family would use to describe her. She could charm anyone with her sharp sense of humor. Wherever she went, Alice quickly made friends. She had a way of putting people at ease, laughing and joking with them. She made people she just met feel as though they had known each other for years. Alice was born on December 24, 1991 to Sue Hills and Clive Ruggles. She had two older siblings, Nick and Emma, and a younger brother, Patrick. The family of 6 were close-knit. Even as the children grew up and moved away from home, they stayed in close contact via the family WhatsApp chat. Alice and her siblings were raised in Leicestershire, in the small, quiet village of Turlangton. At school, Alice immersed herself in the drama department, performing in a number of plays. When she was 18, Alice attended Northumbria University, located about 200 miles north of Leicestershire. She chose the university mainly for its renowned fencing team. Alice excelled at the sport in high school. She graduated from university in 2014 with a degree in product design engineering and soon got a job at the UK broadcasting company Sky in Newcastle, England. Alice moved into a flat in Gateshead, a large town located on the opposite side of the River Tyne from Newcastle. She prospered at work and quickly grew to love life in Newcastle. Harry Dhillon, who began going by Harry Dhillon when he moved to the UK, was originally from India. He was an only child, raised in a devout Sikh household. The Dhillon family moved often as a result of Harry's father's position in the army. When Harry graduated from high school, he went to university to pursue a degree in strategy management. As a part of the degree program, he was given the opportunity to study at Queen Margaret University in Edinburgh. Keen to discover a new way of life outside of India, and for some time away from his deeply religious parents, Harry jumped at the chance to study abroad. He embraced life in the West, particularly enjoying the social scene. Free from the watchful eye of his parents, he went out clubbing often. He would drink heavily on nights out, and enjoyed the company of a number of different women. It was the sort of behavior that his parents would never have approved of, but being so far away, Harry was not concerned about them finding out. On graduating from university, Harry decided to enlist in the British Army after representatives came on a recruitment visit to Queen Margaret University. While in the army, Harry rose to the rank of Lance Corporal. His first tour of duty was in Afghanistan, where he served in a non-combat role. While stationed in Afghanistan, Harry regularly used Facebook to keep up with friends and family in India and Scotland. It was in October of 2015 that he was scrolling through a friend's photos when he came across a picture of a pretty girl with long, dark hair and a warm, kind smile. Harry commented on the photo, writing how beautiful she was. It was not long before he received a message from her introducing herself. Her name was Alice Ruggles. From that point on, Alice's life would never be the same again. The two began messaging back and forth, and then video chatting several times a week. Harry was sweet and charming online, and Alice fell for him quickly. When Harry returned to the UK from Afghanistan, the two met in person for the first time. They first spent an enjoyable week together in Newcastle, and then another Edinburgh, where Harry's barracks were located. Harry then returned to Afghanistan for his final tour of duty. He would be gone for 2 months. Not long after Harry came back to the UK in April, friends, family and co-workers began seeing distinct changes in Alice. She was not a usual bubbly, cheerful self. Usually she was engaged and animated during conversation, but she was becoming increasingly distant and withdrawn. It was as though she was always somewhere else. She lost a lot of weight in a short period of time. Alice no longer went out with her friends and became combative with her housemates. As a result, she moved out and went to live with her co-worker, Maxine McGill, in her flat in Gateshead. It became clear to Alice's friends and family that her new boyfriend, Harry Dhillon, was the reason for the changes in her personality and behavior. As it turned out, Harry was far from the kind and thoughtful man Alice met online. In reality, he was possessive and controlling. He wanted to control every aspect of Alice's life, from who she spent her time with to the way she looked. Harry did not like Alice going out drinking, wearing makeup or dressing nicely to go out. He would go through her text messages and social media. Every time she spoke to another man, he accused her of flirting and being disloyal. As a result, Alice became increasingly isolated and lonely, a far cry from the fun-loving young woman she had once been. It was then that Alice decided enough was enough, and she dumped Harry. Getting Harry Dhillon out of her life, however, would prove impossible. The harder Alice tried to push Harry away and move on, the more he harassed and tormented her. In the weeks following the breakup, Harry called, texted and emailed her constantly. Sometimes he would be pleading with her to take him back, telling her how much he loved her, and that he would change. At first, Alice tried to be nice, and let him down easy, but when she realized that this would not work, she began ignoring him. Enraged, Harry began calling Alice's family and friends. He pleaded with them to try and reason with her. Knowing that Harry was nothing but bad news, they told him to leave Alice alone. In early September, he found out through Alice's Facebook that she had begun seeing someone else, an army officer named Mike. Harry sent messages directly to Mike, telling him how terrible Alice was, that Alice was still telling him, Harry, that she still loved him, and that she was cheating on Mike with him. Mike knew about Harry, and what he had been putting Alice through, so he did not take any of what Harry said seriously. Alice and Mike's relationship continued to thrive. All the while, Harry became more jealous and obsessed. On Friday, September 30th, it became evident to Alice just how unhinged Harry had become. That afternoon, he left a voicemail on her phone, pleading with her to call him back. When she didn't call, he made the 2.5-hour drive from his barracks in Edinburgh to Alice's flat in Gateshead. Once he arrived, he rang the doorbell several times and then hid. Alice was scared enough as a result of this incident that she called the police. For too long, she had put it off, trying to play everything down in her mind. But Harry had crossed a line when he drove all that way, left the unwanted gifts, and terrified her by knocking on her window and waking her up. The operator told Alice that she could either hire a solicitor and take out an injunction, a restraining order, or Harry could be issued with a police information notice, PIN. A PIN would mean that, if he comes near you, or contacts you again, he will be arrested, the operator told her. Alice opted for the PIN option. Alice had been instructed by the police to contact them if Harry got in touch with her again. So on October 7th, when she received the package, that's what she did. But rather than focus on the fact Harry had violated the PIN notice he had been issued by contacting Alice, the operator was more preoccupied with the contents of the package. The contents shouldn't have been the issue. It was the fact that Harry had contacted her after being warned not to. Alice explained to the operator that while Harry said in his letter that he would not contact her again, he had said that a number of times before. He always contacted her again, no matter what. He was incapable of leaving her alone. The operator told Alice that he would have someone call her back to discuss what to do next. Understandably, she was exasperated with this response. She had called the police on Harry once, then again when he violated the PIN notice. They were not grasping how afraid she really was, nor did they seem aware of what Harry was capable of, despite her telling them how extreme the stalking had become. By Wednesday, October 12th, it had been 5 days since the disappointing phone calls with police. While Alice was still scared and anxious about Harry, she was doing her best to distract herself, thinking about her plans for the weekend. Mike was coming over from Germany, so finally she had something to look forward to. He would be a much-needed distraction from all that had been going on. Alice got home from work and went to her bedroom. In between texting Mike, she began going through her closet, contemplating what she would wear to go out that weekend. Little did she know, as she went about her business in her bedroom, Harry Dhillon was in her backyard. This was not the first time that week that he had been there without Alice's knowledge. He had been there 2 days before, on October 10th, taking photos of the backyard and windows as reconnaissance. It was dark, and neither Alice nor her flatmate Maxine had any idea he was there. This time, however, Harry was not just there to take photos. There was a window open in the flat, which he was easily able to climb through. Harry Dhillon was in Alice Ruggles' flat. There is no doubt as to what was going through his mind at that point. If I can't have her, nobody can. What happened after that isn't exactly clear, but it all went down very quickly. Harry cornered Alice in the bathroom with a sharp knife he found in the kitchen. Given Alice had been in her bedroom the whole time Harry was in the flat, he likely heard her go into the bathroom and followed her in. He then continued to butcher her till she was dead. Alice's flatmate Maxine came home from work to discover the front door of the flat locked. When she realized that she didn't have her key with her, she climbed over the wall into the backyard and called for Alice to let her in. There was no reply, but Maxine saw that there was a window open which she could climb through. Once inside, she was greeted by a horrific sight. The police and paramedics arrived at the flat, and Maxine's worst fears were confirmed. Alice Ruggles would be pronounced dead at the scene. Harry Dhillon was arrested in a matter of hours back at his barracks in Edinburgh. At first he told the arresting officers he had no knowledge of Alice's death, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. As it turned out, Harry had been sitting in his car outside of Alice's flat on the afternoon of October 12, waiting for Alice to return home from work. It was not difficult for detectives to come to the conclusion that Harry was guilty of Alice's murder. His phone records put him in Gateshead at the time she was killed. They discovered Alice's blood on his steering wheel. Not to mention his dangerous and obsessive behavior in the months leading up to the murder. In April 2017, Harry Dhillon was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum of 22 years. We've come to the end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Till next time.